Let's look at Theta Fuel / the US dollar. First off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. So here is the pair. TFUEL / USD is the ticker. So what is Theta Fuel? So TFUEL is the second token on the Theta blockchain that serves as the utility token in decentralized video and data delivery. It also acts as a gas token. This means that it is used to power all operations on the Theta blockchain, like payments to relayers for sharing a video stream, for deploying and interacting with smart contracts, and as fees associated with transacting NTFs and DeFi applications. In addition, it is also used to incentivize users in the ecosystem who share their redundant computing power as edge compute nodes, as well as bandwidth resources as edge caching nodes for video streams and other data. So here you have, Theta.tv, where you can watch, live, you see like gaming streams here. I mean, this whole esports, gaming marketplace, it is really interesting. I think that it has huge potential, and I think that it will become bigger than traditional real-world sports in the not too distant future. And that is because the graphical power is becoming so tremendous, especially now with the next generation of gaming consoles, that it's becoming difficult to distinguish between a video game and reality. And you can make esports way more exciting than, real sports, quote unquote. I mean, you can have, sports on Mars. Another thing is that, from a cost perspective, it is way cheaper. I mean, you do not need to build a sports stadium. You literally can just have it digitally made. You don't need that many players. You just pay, a handful of really good gamers to control, as an example, the soccer players. So the economics is massively more competitive than what we have in the contemporary sports industry. So yeah, I think it has huge potential. We are still at an early stage, and this is one of those DeFi players, on the blockchain. The reason why I think that this is very interesting at this point is due to this. You do have the all-important purple 20-week moving average. We are currently very close to testing it as support. The current RSI level is at a level that has triggered many of the previous rallies. So there are multiple reasons here to become speculatively bullish. When we go to the daily data points, it is a bit of a messy situation. Ideally, we would like to see this blue 100-day moving average offer support. Currently, we do have a break below. So if you look back here, in this instance, we did goof around below that moving average, but when we did get above, we did see a very substantial rally. In this instance, we do have something similar. I would prefer it not happen this quickly, because the problem here is that the people who watch, that moving average, they're going to become more spooked, because it's not, this clear support level anymore. Like here, it is a nice support. And at this point, the moving average is building legitimacy. Here we slash right through it, and that is why you see that investors do not behave in the same way to that moving average. It basically lost legitimacy. This is why the purple 20-week moving average absolutely must hold. If we do close below it, then it will be something new. It doesn't behave like we saw back here anymore. So yes, my bullish thesis is very contingent on this moving average continuing to offer support. Looking here at the RSI on the daily data points, we are at a level that has triggered many recoveries. This recovery, similar RSI. This recovery, similar RSI as far as buying low and selling high. The current level is interesting. We do have some kind of time cycles, but they have differed a bit in duration. But the basic logic here is that, you see that it moves in these waves. So it's one of those, buy low, sell high securities. And this is currently at a low. If we measure for symmetry here, if we measure from here as an example to the high, that took 10 days. So how long has this sell-off been? It's been 15-ish days. So there is a bit of an expectation that maybe the sell-off is drawing to a close. Maybe. But yeah, I think I would just lean bullish here, but it's not high conviction. It is very contingent basically on this 20-week moving average offering support. So here we have the king, and that is Bitcoin, and we do still have that very clear head and shoulders pattern. What is very annoying is that the bulls are not making much progress. They are fighting. They are preventing the bears from, completing the right shoulder, which is good. But at this point, it's been multiple weeks without any aggressive move here from the bulls. At this point, the right shoulder is significantly below the left shoulder. That is not what you want to see as a bull. So the risk of a breakdown has increased. So yeah, it is a dicey situation here for Bitcoin. Here we are looking at some statistical correlations. We do not have sufficient data to look at weekly data point correlations, but on the daily data points we do have some interesting data. When it comes to Bitcoin, there is a minus 7% negative correlation. So currently there's a very, very low correlation between these two cryptos. It has been very high before. Here you have a 94% positive correlation. Here you have around 80. So the correlation has been much stronger before. But at this point they have really decoupled. So that is an interesting development that we need to keep our eye on. Looking at the relationship with the dollar index, we have a 23% positive correlation, so it's very modest. When it comes to the S&P 500, we currently have a 70% positive correlation. So both are basically then interpreted as relatively similar risk assets. Certainly, we haven't seen any negative correlation since way back here. But yeah, you see that there's a clear trend here in that correlation. When it comes to gold, we do have a very weak 3% positive correlation. It was deeply negative back here, but now it is becoming positive. So you can see here with these correlations that they have changed over time. I think it is especially to look at the future development when it comes to Bitcoin. Because we do have this very epic pattern currently on Bitcoin, and given the current correlation, if we do see the completion of a head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin, we literally do not have much correlation. Hence, it shouldn't really have that much of an effect on Theta Fuel. But that is sort of also a double-edged sword. It also means that if, let's say that the bulls are able to save Bitcoin, because we do have some horizontal support levels and moving average support, then you then get a situation where Theta Fuel is not necessarily going to benefit from it. So yeah, it is what it is. But I think that we do have a very clear level that we want to hold on Theta Fuel, that purple 20-week moving average. So a bullish thesis is contingent on that holding.